There we go.
I think the target was called Niddigan. It was a small village, but it was a point of resistance by the Germans and their advance. And we had been called in for air support, and it was one of my earlier missions. And I managed to drop the bombs down this long, narrow street of the town, the only main street. And there was quite a reaction as to the accuracy of those bombs walking down that main street. And after that, our troops advanced right through the town. At least that's what I was told. And it made you feel good that you contributed.
Yeah, well, you certainly contributed.
Then there was, there were a few other targets that were satisfying. Towards the end of the war, where we carpet bombed Worms. The city of Worms. The thought was if we could damage that town enough, why the civilians would demand that Hitler ended the war. But of course it didn't work that way, although it wasn't too long afterwards that the Germans caved in. And when I think back as to what assistance I had in my pre-war training, I think that I recall running these kiddie shows, cartoons. Each reel was about 7 minutes long. On a Saturday, you'd run 10 or 20 of them for the children. And whenever you had a film break, which would happen now and then, those kids would start screaming and yelling. They want the movie back on, and you're in the booth up there trying to calm your nerves, and which you eventually do manage to do. And that control of my nervous system, that training, so to speak, assisted me when it was time to go over a target and bomb it. I didn't have any jitters. And I always kept in mind that Colonel Cower said, if you see it or you hear it, you're all right, because it missed you. That flak I'm talking about. So that didn't influence me. You just fly through it. It's too late to dodge it anyway.
Well, that's what always fascinated me is when the pilot turned over the control of the plane to you at the end. That where the pilot just let go of the steering wheel and then you took over.
No, it wasn't like that.
How was it?
The pilot would do what I asked. He controlled the plane. We didn't have the automatic pilot that we switched over to. Not in our aircraft. No. When we reached the initial point is when, even prior to that, over enemy territory as a rule, I would tell the pilot where to go, and he would do what I told him. I'd say, make my first turn upwind. But I'd say, give me a 15-degree turn to the left. Then I'd say, give me a 15-degree turn to the right. Now I'm back parallel to my intended line of flight. And then give me another 15-degree to the right. Give me another 15-degree on to the left. I'm back right on line. Or give me a 45 this way and a 90 this way. It's just a geometrical design in your mind as you're flying at maybe 165 miles an hour, and it's easy to get disoriented if you don't have this in your mind and if you don't adhere it to it. You have to be organized in that sense mentally. That's how you're able to find the target in time. And you stay upwind, make your first turn upwind so that it's easier to come down. You don't have to and get back on lined up on the target. If you're downwind, you have to fight the wind with the aircraft, and then what keeps pushing you back. So you're better off if you're upwind and it pushes you back on line. That sort of thing.
That's a trick.
Another thing was a lot of pilots, a lot of bombardiers were told to take their level back at the IP, the initial point of going into the target. I did initially, but then I decided once I take uncage the gyro back there, and then you've gone through this rough buffeting of air, you could topple your gyro accidentally if you had a close hit. So I decided I would not uncage my gyro at the IP. I would wait until my last turn onto the target and take my level then.
Oh, wow.
And I'd say, give me a level, and you give me a level, I uncage the gyro.
Line it up.
Line it up, release the bombs, get the hell out of here.
Whew.
And it made a difference because I eliminated all that indecision and that you don't know what's going to happen.
That put all the responsibility on you at that last moment, the last few seconds, last 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, it was the bombardier's responsible, definitely from the IP to the target. And some wouldn't fly evasive action. They'd fly straight and level. And a lot of aircraft got shot up that shouldn't have.
Well, you made it back with no injuries.
Fortunately, yes.
Bob too.
Right.
Clyde, no injuries.
Well, I didn't have much to do with Bob because we weren't leading. We just flew on the other fellow's wing. But when I flew with Harkins, he was assigned several leads.
Yeah, a whole bunch of leads actually.
I think